Hi guys, this is Noiser, and today I will continue the speculation around the Swedish CTU by discussing some loadouts and possible abilities for the female special reconnaissance attacker. If you haven't seen the first part discussing the reason why I think there actually will be a Swedish CTU, check out the link in the description below. To start with, I got one comment in the last video from Killflame that had some ideas around an operator with some sort of sound box that could produce different sounds to confuse the enemy. Repelling sounds, footsteps, gunfire, you name it. Now, what I think is especially interesting about Killflame's comment is that it sort of focuses on the same aspect as the idea I had, which is the idea of disinformation. We have operators that can get intel in many different ways, but what we don't have is an operator that can produce false intel, and using that as a tactic to perhaps enable different attack strategies. When I think about the old Mission Impossible series, yes, the one from the 70s, which many of you probably haven't even heard of, what I remember most is the electronics guy, Barney Collier, the sweatiest guy ever on screen. You just have to check it out sometime. He always plugged into security cams and other stuff as the IMF team were to make the enemy unaware of their presence, or perhaps playing back false video to make them think something was happening while it wasn't. This is like the most basic thing that happens in every sort of jewelry or bank heist movie. When a team have to enter a heavily guarded structure, they hook up to the surveillance cameras and fool the guys in the control room. I personally think this would be a very interesting added flavor to the game. Uncertainty will slow down the pace of Rainbow Six Siege, and I actually think that wouldn't be a bad thing sometimes, as that could bring in more tactical and team-oriented play in my opinion. Now, I've heard ideas before of an attacker that could hack into default cameras and use them for the attackers instead. And this is building on that concept. But imagine being able to freeze the camera image for a while, or even record like a 10-second loop or something to actually give the defenders false information. Now, this specific ability could be a bit hard to balance, but not impossible. To start with, how close does she have to be to the camera to be able to hack into it? How long should it take? And is there a way to prevent that with like mute jammers nearby or something totally different? And when it comes to the possibility to actually record a loop that plays back to the defenders over and over again, how hard should that be to notice to keep it balanced? Imagine, for example, watching an outside camera and you see Ash rappelling up a window, breaking it and sending in her drone. You ping her for your friends and then run over there to peek her. But she's not there. You quickly browse through the cameras again, and there she is again. Back, climbing up the wall, breaking the window. Wait a second. I've seen this before. It's a recording. Now, this could perhaps work in that way that the more time you put into making the disinformation recording, less likely it is to be noticed, as perhaps there's only a glitch in the image when the loop restarts or something. However it would be really nice to hear your thoughts about this, or if you have other better ideas, of course, or improvements on this one. But before we end this video, I thought we should take a look at the possible loadout. At the moment, SOG are using the HK-G36 of some variant, I'm not sure which, but as we already have the G36C, why not introduce a G36K with slightly longer barrel, as I believe that has. The SOG apparently use the HK-417 as well, but then I recently read an article claiming that they were actually switching to a gun called LWRC M6. The M6 is a series of carbines designed and manufactured by the LWRC International, and it's based on the M4 carbine, with which it shares about 80% of its parts. This is a gun quite similar to Ash's R4, I believe, but to introduce a new gun would of course be pretty cool. Perhaps you could have the choice of a G36K or an LWRC M6 as primary, and then a Glock 17 as a secondary, which I think is what they use as a sidearm. The defender would probably have an MP5 to stay true to the real SOG operator, or Swedish CTU operator in general actually. But the Swedes also still use the HK-53, an old SMG from the 70s, so that could be a cool addition, although it would feel a bit odd to run around with such an old gun with the CTU formed as recently as back in 2011. But this is a video game, so what the heck. And I mean, Frost has an SMG from like the Second World War or something, so that shouldn't stop us. So that's about it for this one. Now, please share your thoughts around the defense operator as well, and what do you think about that one? I have no clear-cut role figured out, but if you have ideas that sounds interesting, I would gladly make a video on that subject as well. Just share your thoughts and ideas by leaving a comment below, and give me a thumbs up or down so I get to know what you think about me doing videos like this. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it to get notified when I post a new video. I'll be back in a couple of days again, and until then, I will keep being Noiser. Hej då!